Houston, we've got a problem. And I love problems because that's what we do here on this channel. We solve problems. You have two electrical outlets right here. The one on the right is a textbook perfect electrical outlet. But the other outlet here on your left, this receptacle here, is set back into the wall because builders often make mistakes where they set the outlet box back too far back on you. Because what we're trying to avoid here, of course, is this violation. You're also trying to avoid these cracked wall plates. And of course, the aesthetic failure and the safety risk, it all ties in together. And in fact, I even found a bad outlet at the gym where I work out. Here it is right here, as you can see it. Today, I'm going to show you how to repair this. So I've repaired many of these over the years, and today I'm going to show you 3 of the common fixes that are out there for you. And I'm going to start with my favorite one first and then show you the other 2. And the other 2 are questionably legal as to whether or not they violate the National Electric Code. So here's a textbook install of an outlet. And with a textbook install, the plate is supposed to be all the way against the wall. There should be nothing pushing out, and it should all be nice and sturdy, and you should be able to plug anything into it like this. And then the outlet should stick out just a little bit proud of the outlet plate like this. But in this case, what you can see the problem here is that the outlet is set back by probably about 1/4 inch or so, and this violates the National Electric Code because you're not allowed to have any space in there. It has to stick out like this. Everything has to be sealed and tight and not moving. And I'll tell you something else too. The problem is even worse with the child-proof outlets that have the little shutters here, because you have to exert a lot more force to get something plugged into those outlets, right? And so you're going to have an even worse time. So as you can see, what I want to show you here today is how to engineer the perfect flush electrical installation here with your electrical receptacle. So first and foremost, my favorite method for making these repairs over the years out of all of these is here. This is the UniShim. So this is an electrical shimming fastener. And you're probably thinking, well, it looks like a washer. You just told us not to use washers. It's not a washer. And if you look closely right here, this is the secret sauce here to the entire device. And that is this little catch pin, which they also call a tang. I was reading up on their patent. This whole thing is patented. And then the other methods I've used before is using these little foldable plastic accordion shims. These are called outlet shims. And I'll put links to all of these down in the video description below for you. And then, of course, you also have these. These are called box extenders, although they really look more like gaskets to me. And so here's how the box extenders work. You can put 1 or 2 of them in and stack them up. But, you know, your hole has to be pretty exact, so that's the other thing about it. And if it's not, then, well, maybe you have to cut some more or play around with it more. And then sometimes they'll stick proud out of the hole, so now you have to buy other sizes, so they're a pain to deal with. And it's important to make a distinction here that these 2 are considered improvised methods of shimming, and that's what makes them questionable as to whether they violate the electric code. Whereas the Unishim, the 632 here, is considered code compliant, and I'll show you why. And by the way, this is not a sponsored video. Nobody's paying me to say this or anything, but when I do tool reviews, you've seen me over the years, and I find products that I like, I'll tell you about it. So I'll put the links down to like Amazon. You can get it Prime next day. And also as a disclosure, you know, whenever we give you affiliate links like that, we get a small commission. So whatever you buy, even if you end up not buying the product we send you to, if you use our links and buy something, we will get credit for that. So thank you for supporting our channel. Before I take off this plate here to show you how to do this repair, I just want to give you one grim reminder. This is not just a failed outlet. Okay, this is much more than an outlet fail. Okay, this is a violation of National Electric Code to have this condition. So this is more than just a failed outlet. This is your dead 6-year-old daughter, Megan, right here. And I'll tell you why. Because a kid could come up to this with a little piece of wire or a hanger or something and go, oh, hey, look, I got somewhere I can stick my wire. And if they stick it in right in here, guess what's right in there on the side of this outlet? That gold screw, which is connected to the black wire, which is live, and there goes Megan, lights out. So that's why if you have, or if you know anybody that has outlets that are pushing in, tell them to do this repair immediately. Now you have to think safety first. Before you take off these outlet plate covers, it's always best practice to go to the fuse panel there and turn off the circuit breaker for this outlet. And it's a good idea to test it too. So you can either get an outlet tester to test it, or you can use, I prefer to use these non-contact voltage detectors. And I know the purists are always going to chime in, oh, that's stupid, what if they're bad? You always test it on a good outlet first, or just put it next to a power cord on a lamp and it'll light right up. And if it lights up, you know it works. And then you come and you test it and you make sure that it's off like this. I mean, after all, not everybody walks around with a $400 Fluke digital multimeter in their bag. And then you're fine. So then you just unscrew the plate. Okay, and then there's your outlet, and you can see it. Sometimes it'll be loose here. So here you can see the difference as to why it's doing that. See, notice how in the textbook version here, the way it's done correctly, if they size the hole properly on the drywall, the outlet box should just land right over the front of it there. Or depending on what outlet box they use, it should at least end up flush with the front edge of your drywall. That's the whole reason why this one didn't do right, because you can see it's set back a ½ inch because the builder made a mistake. And then your receptacle will come here and it will attach to the outlet box through the mounting screws right there. And everything's nice and tight there. So that's a textbook. And you'll notice too, see how the outlet is sticking out proud of the wall, because once you put the outlet plate on, which is mounded, see that it has a mound to it? That way it'll stick out a little bit. Okay, this one, even the face of the outlet is set back.
The Unishims help the receptacle self-shim itself from the outlet box.
So as you could see here, when I showed you how the Unishim screws onto your mounting screw, it acts as a precise mechanical spacer. By threading onto this mounting screw here, it can be adjusted to bridge the gap that you have here between the recessed box and the wall. And so by the time we're done, this here, everything will be coplanar with the front of the wall. It will be flush with the front edge of your drywall. And then it will be back into meeting the electrical code once again.
So the problem that I've seen over the years, every time I've opened up certain electrical outlets, is all of the hacks that were done by previous handymen. Like they'll stack a bunch of washers, and I can't tell you how many times I've opened up an outlet and had a whole bunch of washers fall out. Great. Now you can't find all of them, and now you're not going to stack them back in perfectly. So how are you going to put the thing back in? So anytime I find any of these items, I just remove them and replace them with the Unishim. Some people even use, I don't know, plastic or some metal tubes for standoffs. Some people even use cardboard.
Now I know what you're thinking, and don't you dare do it, because a lot of you are going to go, hey, you know what? I'll just reach into my little DeWalt bin here, and I'll pull out a bunch of these little washers, and I'll use those to shim it up. Or maybe I can pile in a few nuts or something like that. And I've even seen really dumb people use cardboard to try to shim it back up, which is even dumber, because now you're introducing something that's not fireproof inside the box, and you're making an even bigger mistake. So don't do it. Always use the right tool for the job.
Okay, and all of these improvised standoffs, they lack the approval, and they often violate the National Electric Code. This, in my opinion, is really the key to their patent on this, is this patented catch pin, or as they call it, the tang, in their patent. And so that's why this is Jeff approved here, is because of that catch pin, because this locks into that oval-shaped hole there in the yoke of your electrical receptacle there. And here's a kind of more of a 3D view of it. And again, I got way too many teeth on here. I just didn't have time to go in and adjust my drawings. So this is really what I liked about the Unishim 2 here, is these perimeter adjustment teeth. And again, I've got too many teeth on here, but this is just more or less symbolic. Where you can do it with your thumb, your finger, or you can use a flathead screwdriver to spin it. But really, once you set it, before you insert it into the outlet box, you don't have to change it again. So I generated these little instruction steps here to help you. We're going to thread it onto the screw after the screw's been inserted through the yoke, of course, but I'm just kind of showing you what it's going to look like when it's facing the screw head. And then we'll start to screw it into the box. And so remember, the center threads are also flush too, so that the entire thing stays flush with the edge of your yoke when you insert it. And I'll show you how we insert it in a second. And so right now, before we begin the first step, this is Jeff's golden rule here, your functional orientation. Don't forget here to screw the Unishim onto your 632 screw with the catch pin here facing the screw head. So let's get that going right now. So you're going to want your receptacle to look kind of like this with your two unishims on there before you screw the whole apparatus into your electrical outlet box.
Let me show you the x-ray vision of how this is going to work, because normally the screw will go through the yoke, but I want you to be able to see what's happening to the shim behind the scenes. So we set it about 1/4 of an inch from the screw, and then we start screwing it in. And remember, this would be screwing in through the yoke of the receptacle. And you keep screwing it in until right around here where the shim is now flush with the front of the drywall. And that's how it's set our gap now. You see that? We fixed our gap. We shimmed up that gap there. They'll all be tight. And that's what makes this code compliant, because you can see everything here is all tight together. They're all connected. Your solution has to be connected to the box. It has to be. And that's what makes that work so well. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to remove the receptacle. Okay. So then you're going to turn the outlet around. See, these plastic square retainers are just there to hold the screws in place for you. But once we screw on the Unishim, it will take the place of those plastic retainers. Okay, so they just pull right out. Okay, so here we're going to put the Unishim on here. And remember, with the catch pin right there facing the screw head. That's the important part, because if you put it on backwards, it's not going to work and it won't catch. So you move it about 1/4 of an inch away like that. And we'll use that as our starting point. Now there's two different Unishims. Make sure you order the right one. There's the 632 here, which is the one we're using now, which is meant for the outlet boxes here. And then there's an 832, which is meant for using on the ceiling boxes, because those require 8-32 screws, not the 6-32s that we use on the outlet receptacles here. That's why they're named like that. 632, 832. So those of you that know all of those screw types and sizes, that's very familiar to you. Now that we've done the first one right there, we do the other screw. And remember, don't forget, the catch pin goes forward and it faces towards the head of the screw. Faces the front. I'll tell you why in a minute. So here we are, we got it set to the right distance there, about 1/4 of an inch or so. And the reason why we want that catch pin facing forward, it has to catch on the oblong hole on this yoke, on the top and on the bottom. Yeah, so that's what I like about these Unishims, is they're pretty much infinitely adjustable. You are only limited by the length of your bolt. So let's go ahead and stick it on there. And you just want to get it started a little ways. Like that. Now you can see the Unishim is right there. You want to start to screw in the screws until the Unishim reaches the level of the drywall there, that front face, until it's perfectly coplanar with it. And when you're doing that, pull on the outlet, because you don't want it touching the Unishim just yet. So we're going to give it a little bit of a few more screws there, so that one's in. And then if you look at the bottom Unishim, so now the Unishims, both upper and lower, are lined up with the front face of the drywall. So now that we've done that, it's time to catch the Unishim onto the yoke here. So pay special attention to that little opening right there in the yoke with the Phillips head screwdriver here, just so you can see it. Now just watch for it. What you do is you push in on the outlet so that it's resting sort of up against the Unishim. And as you turn the screw, you'll see eventually that little catch pin. See how if you look through the yoke opening, the Unishim is rotating. Now listen for did you hear that click? It clicked right there, and there is the catch pin. So it came right in there. And now you can tighten the screw against the Unishim. See, the Unishim's not going to spin because it's latched onto here. That's the genius of this whole thing. See, so he's nice and tight up top there now. And then I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. So watch the same thing on the bottom. I'm going to push in on the outlet so that it's all the way up against the Unishim. Then I'm going to rotate the screw. Listen for that click. Right there, see that? Now the catch pin is visible there in the yoke hole. So now we're going to tighten it the rest of the way up against the shim. See, if it wasn't for that catch pin catching on there, the shim would keep spinning and you'd never be able to tighten it. But look at this. We are completely coplanar now with the front of the wall. And how do you like them apples? So now let's try to put a little tester thing on there. You can see it's pretty tight. It's not going anywhere. And let me just make sure our screws are in there good. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done here, you can see the Unishim is actually recognized as a trusted solution for NEC 406.5A that I showed you earlier. So this ensures that now we got this really nice, sturdy, professional installation. It meets the safety standards for both residential and even for commercial properties as well. Okay, look at this. It's nice and textbook now, just like the one next to it. They both look the same now. And it didn't look like that before we started, did it? So see how this is on there nice and tight? So we have now fixed this. And I just got 2 quick pro tips here for you. So number 1 here, when you're hanging your plate, and you notice how I said the word hang, you stick it on there, it's effectively hanging. So always start with the upper screw. It's easier to tack it in with the upper screw first and then put the lower screw. The other thing is, do you see the difference right now between these 2 plates? What's wrong with this picture here? This is a pet peeve of mine. Maybe call me OCD or whatever, maybe I'm a fanatic. But when I put outlet plates on, I always like to have the screw slots facing up like this. It just looks aesthetically better. I see nothing but this when I look at all of the electrical contractors that the builders always use. They're sloppy. See, look, no regard at all. You got the screws in the different angles. So always make sure that they line up top and bottom. It just looks a lot more professional, and maybe people notice it. I know some people notice it, so that's the way it should look. Now the other method that's commonly used, this is probably better than using the washers, but I still really don't like it, and I'll tell you why. Because it's like an accordion, and you have to choose approximately a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch at a time to try to set your depth with it. Sometimes they're a pain to get them to snap in and stay in. So here's like almost 1/4 of an inch right here. And it's not precise enough. The Unishim is a lot more precise because it threads onto the screw. And then the other reason why I don't like these is, see, they're not stationary on there. See, they don't screw onto the screw, so they're not mounted as part of the mounting solution. They are loose. They're free to move about the country. And so I don't think this makes for a completely good setup. They're okay, but not the best. And it's iffy, in my opinion, whether these are really code compliant. You slide it onto the screw. It doesn't attach to it. It's just there. So that's the kind of other thing. They're a little bit flimsy to deal with, to get everything to fit in there. And then you screw it in place. So you can see what the issue looks like from behind. So the builder, when they mount these, sometimes a novice might make a mistake here, and they'll mount it so that the front edge of the outlet lines up to the front edge of the stud, or even a DIYer might do that, but that's incorrect. It's supposed to stick out beyond the front of the stud so that once they come around and put the drywall on there, you see, it will then be flush.
And here's another reason too, especially with novices that have never done this before. They cut the opening in the drywall too big. So look at the receptacle on the left. It has no meat to grab onto there with its yokes. But look at the one on the right. See, there was plenty of drywall for it to rest on.
And by the way, I have another really good pro tip for you. You're going to love this. So if you're remodeling your own kitchen and you're going to start cutting holes in whatever, or if the drywall's down and you have access to the studs, you know, instead of using just a regular remodel box like this, I highly, highly suggest you get a box like this. They look very similar, but here's the difference between this box. Do you see it, right? So you're going to mount this to your stud, but what's different about this box? You see that little screw right there? This is an adjustment screw. It's like a set screw, and you can slide this guy backwards and forwards on this track here. Yeah, so if you mounted it and it was flush with the front of your wall, like it should be, but somebody decides, hey, I want to put a 1/2 inch of tile around it, you just adjust the set screw here. See, he then slides out. So these are really great to have. These are the adjustable outlet boxes. Well, this should get you going, so happy shimming, and we'll see all of you on the next one.